Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Friday night. I think last week we did Saturday, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we decided to do it. So,
We did Friday.
but we are gonna go out, so we probably have to like wrap it up before 9, so I can, you know.
That's plenty of time.
So I can get ready.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of already ready, but I just gotta change clothes and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Shit,
So
man. Losing
what?
Connections here.
What's the matter?
Losing connections.
Well,
Okay.
that sounds like a personal
All right.
problem.
I'm gonna restart this thing.
I was telling Tom that on my way home from work, driving home, I was like halfway home and I was stopped in traffic, like at a red light, and I looked over at on the median and there was 2 ducks fucking.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, free duck porn.
Yeah.
That was somebody's lucky day, I guess. I was just kind of like, okay.
Got murder hornets in the damn chat. Murder Hornet sends me all kinds of shit from Mexico. One of the things he sends me is fucking some of that Mexican Viagra. I guess it's from Mexico. Getting Jenny fucked up. Because I still got all that. Still got a lot of that. I'm not even done with that first bottle.
How big was the bottle? I didn't even
It
see
had
it.
90 pills in that first bottle.
Oh. How many do you take? Just one at a time?
One at a time. And it'll
Oh,
last fucking almost 2 days. You can run on that for 2 days.
Yeah, like an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. Please
Does
see
not
your doctor.
fucking. This is a misconception these fucking women have. They think that you take that pill and all of a sudden you fucking pop a boner.
No, I don't.
No,
I made that joke because that was what the commercial used to say. Like that was one of the. They're like, that's how you know you need to go to the doctor, like because that's not right.
Yeah.
So that's why I
not
said
how that
it.
shit works.
Well, yeah, but but some people did report that, but that's not what it's supposed to do.
No.
So that's why they say like go to the doctor. That's what I meant. It doesn't mean that I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
I just said that's.
They got a lot of women that don't know how that works.
That's what they said.
You're gonna take that, just walk around. You know that kind of shit. You know they'll say that shit, that kind of shit to dudes. Yeah.
Murder Hornet said I take 2.
Yeah. Damn, damn, dude.
For double the erection.
That shit's serious, man.
That's funny.
Yeah. The fucking difference between just like a regular fucking Woody and a fucking and a Viagra Woody is like
Enhanced one.
It's like a difference between natural titties and fucking implants. It's that there's that amount of difference in there. Fucking all those fucking porn dudes fucking run that shit.
Well, yeah, I guess you'd have to because.
Yeah, there's no mind in it. You don't have to fucking. You don't have to worry about fucking keeping your shit fucking rocked up. This is, if you're aroused, this shit's gonna be rocked up.
Well, like that's their job, you know.
Yeah.
So they have to do all those scenes. I don't know, but you know, they probably have to do a lot per day. I'd imagine.
My gay porn buddy, who also sells me shit, is a straight
all
dude.
kind of drug dealers.
Yeah, he's another drug. He's a drug dealer. He's a straight dude that does fucking gay muscle porn. Got a girlfriend and everything. He claims to be straight. I mean, he tells me all kinds of shit. He tried to get me to work with him, and I'm like, dude, no. I do no. I mean, he goes, dude, it's not like we have to kiss or anything. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? But anyway, Viagra isn't enough for him. He fucking injects some shit in there. He told me what it was. I forgot what it was. Says you can inject that shit into your dick, and fucking you don't have a choice. You're gonna be rocked up for fucking 6 hours. He says this shit's painful.
Yeah, I
Says you
imagine
can have
it
fun
would
with
be
it, though.
after 6 hours.
Yeah, he says it'll fuck you up though. You can't do it real you can't do it real often, or you'll be dependent on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you'll have to you evidently can build up a dependency on it.
Is that like chemical or psychological or a
I think it might be
combination
both.
of both?
I think it might be
feel
both.
like it usually is.
Because I've noticed that Viagra has some psychological dependency involved in it. You feel a lot better, more confident if you're on that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're not on it, you're going to be like, you know what? Fucking the quality of this fucking erection is not going to be like it was before. That's not going to be that good. So then you start getting into this dick think.
Man, that's a quality
Then
erection.
you're like, yeah. Then you get into this dick think. And you're like, man. Then you're thinking about your dick too much. You just not let shit happen. You know? Dick think.
Dick think.
Yeah, dudes know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I
They
know.
know exactly what I'm
well,
talking about.
I know what you're talking about too.
And if you're worried about it, you sure as hell ain't gonna rock up. Just not going to.
Yeah.
So I think fucking Viagra might be the dangerous way to go, but you just do it anyway. You know, you do it anyway. I take so many drugs anyway.
No one lives forever.
You know, you don't live forever. Yeah, you got 20 years. I got 20 or 30 years left anyway. Don't matter.
What's up, Dave? Hey, you too. Jenny looking great. Tom looking buff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm assuming you're going to Mannequins. We're going to go to Mannequins later as well. Later on after the show and after I change clothes and do various other things.
Yeah.
Because I just got home from work a little while ago. Had some tacos. Those are good tacos, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Making the tacos. What'd you do today? What'd you do today?
I rode the lightning bolt and took it all the way down the freeway and went to the Starbucks near our old house. And Britt was working there. And tried to find you a new girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then, I got one. He's got one
in mind?
I got one in mind, but she might be pretty, I don't know. You might know, not really your type, but kind of like a, imagine if a black metal chick and a hippie chick had a baby. Like a lesbian baby. It's
I'm
like
intrigued.
That. Yeah. She's pretty. But she's very friendly. I showed her to you and everything. Told her about the club and the
man. He's like trying to he's like a dating.
I was cool about it, you know. I didn't say anything. It was nothing like that. It was nothing like that. I was just letting her know.
I can't trust you because I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck kind of shit you're saying to other people behind my back.
She's cute. But you want to see her?
Huh?
You want to see her?
Are you gonna show me her?
I got a picture of her.
Dave says should be room to dance tonight. Well, what is there anything particular going on tonight? Is it like a theme or is it's not baby bats and it's not like what's going on? Because I always I never keep track. You know what I mean? Even though a lot of times I do the posters and stuff, but it's I can't remember because I do so much stuff. Murder Hornet says no more trend for Tom.
Yeah, I ain't fucking with Tran anymore.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna fuck with Tran anymore. That's her artwork.
Yeah, that wasn't fun.
That's her artwork.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I'll show it to you.
That's cool. Oh yeah, she's super cute.
She's got the white hair with the braids and all that, and the chokers.
She looks slightly don't
Don't
tell her I said this. She looks slightly like a goth Britney Spears.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
In that picture.
Yeah.
I don't know what she looks like in real life.
Like that.
Dave says nothing, just V13. Okay. So maybe it won't be super packed. Because I don't think there's anything going on tonight, is there? It's not a holiday. It's nothing. Now, you did not go down to downtown Sanford last night. You were thinking about going,
no, I didn't
we
go.
Just stayed home and...
No, I went Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday was good, man. Bike night, I liked it.
Well, yeah, you should make that a regular thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Last night we started watching Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, I didn't finish it. It's all right.
Because it's long, and it's by the time we started it, I was like, I'm probably going to fall asleep before this is over, right? Because I don't think we started it until 8 or 8:30, and it's 2.5 hours long.
It probably would.
We got halfway through.
It probably would have been. We haven't seen the rest of it, but it probably would have been better in the theater because you probably would have got wrapped up, more caught up in with the soundtrack,
in the visuals, and all that too,
and more in the. They were really leaning into nostalgia, trying to reboot the nostalgia. It was okay. So far, it's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm only halfway through, but it's I mean, and this is coming from somebody that didn't like the first one. It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
I don't love it, but the thing about it is that the first one, it really is a continuation of the first one. So everyone is a cocky asshole that I just want to punch in the mouth, just like the first one. So I was like, well, they've got that going for it, but Trey says, shit, I forgot it was Friday. What's up, everyone? Yeah, I think, because sometimes, we don't mean to be confusing, but sometimes we change it to Saturdays. Last week, we decided to change it to Saturdays, and we went out on Friday, and we're going out this Friday, too, but we decided we were just going to do it before we went out, because I'm tired, but I'm not that tired. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, I fell asleep. What time did we turn the movie off? 10? 9:30? No, probably 9:30 or quarter to 10.
It's coming up on 10.
And then and I was like,
she had to go to work. So
I gotta go sleep. So I only woke up one time in the night, to go to the bathroom, and I think it was 2 or 2:30, and then I woke up right before 5. Mm-hmm. So Trey says, it was all me, but one of those weeks where I keep forgetting what day it was. Yeah. Louis said, Jenny, have you guys watched The Last of Us? We haven't yet, but everybody everybody's. I'll get around to it, I swear, because I really do need to watch it.
They're evidently finally ending The Walking Dead. The last season. They're finally getting rid of that.
I don't even know what the hell is going on with that anymore. Like, I stopped watching a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, it just...
After they killed Glenn, it kind of, like, went downhill.
The writing got bad.
Oh, and then John Wick Chapter 4 is out, because Danny Rowling said about that. John Wick Chapter 4 is just like the rest of the Wick series. Unbelievable fight scenes that looked choreographed and not natural. Pretty much the bad guys just stand there and wait to be beat by John Wick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what you pay to see.
Yeah.
2 hours and 43 minutes. Holy shit.
Damn.
Holy shit. That's a long movie. I mean, I could watch a John Wick movie. I really like the John Wick movies, actually. But they're better to see in the theater, too. They're having spin-offs of Walking Dead. Yeah, I thought they already had, like, a bunch of spin-offs. Weren't they doing... I thought they were doing, like, a Daryl and Carol one or something. I don't know. I thought that I heard that a long time ago. But about the, what?
Fear the Walking Dead sucked.
It was okay at the beginning, but then it just kind of got...
falling apart.
I didn't really like any of the characters all that much. You know what I mean?
Well, they had some... What's his name? Strand? No, remember the black guy? Mm-hmm. With the fucking yacht? I thought that was going to be like a real fucking cool character in terms of... I forgot what I think his name was Strand, I think.
Something like that.
I was like, this dude must be some kind of 007 secret agent or something. No, he's just some gay dude trying to get back to his boyfriend. It was just like, what the fuck?
Well, the thing about it is that they kind of set up... It's almost kind of like they set up all this stuff, and then, like, some more writers came in and were just kind of like, well, I don't really feel like going in that direction. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Like,
you know what I mean?
That's all this dude was? So what about all that fucking secret shit? What about all that fucking high-speed shit
he did? Seemed like...
I said this dude was like James Bond, and it turns out...
it seemed like they were setting him up... to be like a secret agent.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, he could still be a gay dude looking for his boyfriend, but it's like, I thought he was like a secret agent.
Yeah, the whole...
He was, I thought that's what his job was.
I mean, I thought he was a secret agent.
I mean, because that's what I thought that they were setting up, and
that's what it should have been.
Then they didn't really do that.
That's exactly what it should have been.
Really know why
because think about it. You got the zombie apocalypse, right? You got a zombie apocalypse. You saw what some redneck bikers would do. There was 2 good characters out of that one. Fucking one of them got killed. You saw what some fucking redneck cops, what they would do. And then you saw what some chicks would do, right? Regular Southern women. What would James Bond do in the zombie apocalypse?
I kind of feel like that has not been explored.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be the next James Bond movie.
Well, they had the perfect character. That black dude who was like a secret agent. You know, but then they flushed that down the toilet. It turned out that he wasn't a secret agent. And then they had the Sandinista guy, or the Contra, the ex-Contra guy who was torturing people. Salazar. And then that didn't seem to go anywhere. Like, you know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It seemed like they had a lot of cool ideas, but they didn't really, like, know what to do with them. Like, they were really good at set. But I kind of feel like this is a problem with, like, a lot of, particularly horror, but I don't know. I just maybe know more about that because I read a lot more of it. But some people have, like, really great ideas, like novels, movies, everything like that. And, like, the build-up, it's, like, really good. I'm like, holy shit, I'm, like, so intrigued. And then, like, the ending, it's, like, they're just always, like...
Well, I think what was
I kind of feel like that happens a lot.
I think what really happened with The Walking Dead is that the first season... or the first half of the season was, like you said, was written by one group of writers, and then it was written by another group of writers that reversed everything the first ones did. And I think what it was is that originally it was going to be a story about some pretty special people who had survived the apocalypse, like a secret agent, you know what I mean? An ex-Contra fucking torturer, all right? An interrogator, basically. Dudes that came pre-packaged with certain skills in their background of how they survived this. And then they went, that will alienate... And then another group came and says, that will alienate the audience. What if we just make these all regular people like the audience? They'll identify with them. That's not how storytelling goes.
Yeah, but the thing about it was that the original Walking Dead was just regular-ass people. And that was good, but it's like, if you're going to do a spin-off, like, do... something different a little bit. Like you said, I like the idea of doing like people that aren't just like regular people that are just kind of like have specialized skills and see how they deal with it.
You could argue that in the original Walking Dead those weren't regular people though, especially the first 3 or 4 seasons. You had a cop, You had regular people, but the regular people were getting killed. The ones that
Well,
were making
yeah,
it
but I mean, you had
pretty
regular
rough.
people. Well, I mean, you had Carol, who was just like like an abused spouse.
Yeah.
You had Glenn, who was a pizza delivery guy.
Yeah, but both of those characters changed a lot.
Right. But no, I'm just saying, like, just from the start,
Yeah.
like, it was generally just a bunch of, like, regular people.
They went down off the deep end and got really fucking tough, from fucking, they got battle hardened.
Yeah.
But their leaders were already people that were already tough. You had some cops, okay? They provided some leadership, even though they turned on one another over a woman. That was a fucking great story between, what was his name? Fucking, what were the two cops' names? Do you remember?
Rick and
Rick and what was that other guy's name?
It started with an S.
He ended up being cast as the Punisher, and the Punisher series sucked.
Can I just say thank you to Jeffy Art, who sent us a super chat a while back.
What'd you say?
Making disco fries while contemplating my life choices. LOL.
Okay.
Sort of just kidding.
Okay.
Also enjoying a bottle of red wine. A whole bottle? All right.
Yeah.
Have a cocktail on me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's very, very nice of you. Danny Rowling said The Walking Dead never showed how the survivors were surviving without toilet paper, what they were using instead.
Just use leaves and shit.
Well, the thing about it was that, I mean, for a while you could use actual toilet paper because there would just be toilet paper laying around at the stores and stuff.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of it.
Shane, that was the other
Shane,
guess.
that's right.
I was like, I knew it started with an S. I was like, Sean? That's not right.
I thought Shane was one of the best characters out of all the Walking Dead. I thought he was pretty accurate to what some dudes would do, And then the two Dixon brothers. Yeah, guys like that would survive the zombie apocalypse. Just fucking crazy, fucking real hardcore redneck, super poor biker type dudes, criminals. They'd make it, because they're already kind of like bums living in houses, really.
Yeah, they're like, this is not any different than usual
to them. Yeah.
We already don't have toilet paper.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that Negan overstayed his welcome in the series? Probably so. I don't even know what ended up happening with him because, like, we kind of... I like that actor. I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan a lot. Like, I've liked him in other things. And I liked that character at first, but it kind of got old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His sort of, like, over the top.
Yeah, and they kept building it up like something was going to happen. It never would happen.
Well, like I said, that's kind of another thing. And I see that in a lot of horror media. So, like, novels, movies, everything. Like I said, it's easy to come up with an idea and to, like, get all wrapped up in the story and, like, the build-up and everything like that. But then it's got to go someplace that, that makes the journey, like, worth it. And a lot of people can't really seem to do that, Which, even Stephen King, like, some of his endings are, like...
Yeah.
Kind of like
and
wet farts.
They had some really good characters. The crazy-ass black dude, Here's Not Here. He was in the very first fucking... He was in the very first...
Morgan?
Morgan. He was in the very first episode, and you don't see him anymore, and he's got a whole town as a big fucking ambush site. And Rick walks into his ambush site, and he goes, I remember you. He was wearing a dead man's face. And he said a lot of crazy shit when he was crazy. That kind of made me think that... He said he saw somebody wearing a dead man's face. I was thinking, man, was somebody wearing zombie body parts to blend in with the zombies? I think they were going to go that way.
Well, wasn't that in the comic? Wasn't that the Whisperers?
I think so,
or something.
Yeah,
I think they eventually did get to that, but it took like a really long time to get.
It took him a long time to get to these shits. He was dropping hints and stuff, but that actor was fucking great. He's a British guy.
Yeah.
And he could play a crazy dude.
Yeah, I love that dude. He kicks ass. Lenny James? Is that
Lenny
Lenny
James?
James?
His name, yeah. And that Morgan character was cool. I liked him much better when he was crazy. They never should have brought him back to sanity. He was just better crazy. They should have maybe brought him back a little bit to sanity, but I think they should have left him crazy.
But, the thing about it is that when you have in some ways, I kind of feel like writing a book or writing a movie is probably easier than writing a series, because when you're writing a series, you have no fucking idea like how long that's going to go on. Yeah. Look how long The Walking Dead has been on. And it's like, after a while, they're like, look, you know, we've done everything. Like, what the fuck else is there to do? It's like, well, this character went nuts, so let's make them normal again. Then they'll go nuts again. It's like, there's really only so many things you can do, I guess.
That first 3 or 4 seasons I thought were just great horror survival series. You could actually learn from it. There was some of the stuff, situations, and some of the decisions that they made were actually the kind of stuff you'd have to do in a military type environment when it was that dire, that, you know, because their situation was bad. But then later on, when it started getting to these dudes with the tigers and the
that's what Danny Rolling was just showing.
And then these people that were like crows or ants or something.
Oh, the ones in the junkyard.
Yeah, and then
that's like a little too weird. I don't honestly. I don't know. Like, I've never been through a zombie apocalypse, obviously, but it's like I feel like that probably wouldn't happen.
Yeah, and then they were doing things like hiding behind corrugated tin to stop fucking AK-47 rounds and shit. No.
You see that in movies all the time.
What the fuck are these people? You know, you're giving people a very incorrect fucking impression of fucking assault rifles. You know, even cars won't stop assault rifle rounds. The engine block will, but no, man, you could line up fucking 10 cars and shoot through all the doors, and that fucking round would probably go through 6, 7 of them.
I mean, probably marginally better to be behind a car than just like out in the open, but not by much, probably.
Mostly just for concealment.
Yeah.
Not really for stopping
so
around.
They can't see you.
Well, just look at the that one California shooting where the guys were holding off all the cops. What was that? What was the name of that shooting? Where the guys that went to rob the bank and they held off the entire fucking LAP police department.
We did a show about that, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we watched a movie about it too.
Emil and the other guy, or Emil and the other guy, and they were wearing all that body armor, and you can see Emil or Emil. I've heard it pronounced.
I'm assuming it's Emil.
Emil, right?
But I don't know.
He's trying to hide behind a car, and they just shot underneath it and shot his legs out from underneath him. You know, they don't. He was trying to hide behind the engine block, and he's shooting back at him. Going right through, and you can see him shooting at the cops, and he's shooting through the driver's window, and the rounds are going straight through the window and out the back, and those guys are ducking, trying to get from underneath them. Cars won't stop bullets, not out of a rifle. Pistol bullet, you know, a little bit. You might can deflect some, but even a pistol, 9mm pistol, will go through 2 car doors easily.
Danny Rolling said, Tom Savini was trying really hard to be cast as the governor, but lost out to an English actor. Yeah, that's right. What was that actor's name? David Morrissey or something like that?
That was a good...
mainly because he looked exactly like the comic book version of the governor, which would have been epic. I liked that character, but it's like, that'd have been kick-ass if Tom Savini had been in there.
I mean, you'd think
because, it was a good character. Like, but, you know, how much cooler would it have been if it was Tom Savini? Because him and Greg Nicotero are friends, right? Because Greg Nicotero was Tom Savini's, like, understudy for a long time.
Tom Savini isn't a great actor, though.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's okay. He's cool.
The guy that did...
He's Tom fucking Savini.
Yeah, the guy that did... The guy that did the governor was a lot better actor.
Yeah, I've seen him in some other things, too. Like, David Morrissey, I think his name is. I think his first name is David, right? Yeah. Yeah, that was, I don't even remember what season that was. Because we used to watch it live. Like, we used to actually, that was the only thing that we watched on cable TV. Like, we would always watch it whenever it was on Sunday night or whenever it was. Like, we would always, it was like appointment TV. You'd always, like, sit down and watch it. But then, like, after a while, we just, like, stopped watching it. And then I started watching, I don't even know what season they're on now. I started watching, like, one season, and then I was just kind of, like, lost interest, like, halfway through.
Yeah, so. Louis called it again. It's the fucking North Hollywood shootout.
Yeah,
that's right.
We did a show about that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did a show on it.
I thought we did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Danny Rolling was talking about the tiger. Yeah, it just got to a point, like, look, you know, in a comic book, because I know that was from the comic. in a comic book, you can get away with, like, absurd shit like that. This is just going back to, like, the kind of shit that I always say, and I usually say this when I'm talking about Stephen King stuff, but it's like, you know, why they change certain things. In a book or a comic, you can get away with a lot more absurdity than you can get away with in a movie. Yeah. Like, especially if the movie is supposed to be in any way realistic, and I kind of feel like Walking Dead is supposed to be realistic. Yeah, they're walking corpses, but other than that, it's pretty gritty and, like, grounded in reality. So it's like, I just don't see... I don't think that in real life, if there was a zombie apocalypse, I just don't think that you would see these themed communities of people. Yeah. Like, this is, you know, this is like, we're going to pretend it's like medieval times. It's like, you know, or we're going to all live in the junkyard and all, like, walk in. Like, I just don't think that would happen.
No.
I just don't think that would happen.
No. I'll tell you what, though, what was better than the later Walking Dead were the video games. I had some of
the video games are good.
They were kind of multiple choice kind of thing. You didn't have much time to make decisions, and but it was good. The story, the writing in it was the writing in them was good.
That one that you had was so good that it was like, man, you got like all choked up at the end because you got like really into the characters, you know.
Yeah, it was when we were playing the little girl.
Yeah. That was it. See, that was a really good game.
Yeah,
that was a really good game. So, you know. Yeah, Louis said same thing happened to me with Walking Dead. I just lost interest. Yeah, it just got, you know, I really liked all the characters, but then it seemed like then, you know, some of the characters I really liked, like Glenn, got killed, and then they started adding more characters and more communities, and it's like, so the characters that I liked didn't get much time anymore, you know, because they were trying to give everybody equal time, and it was just getting too, like, bloated, and I was just kind of like, I couldn't keep track of everything. Zach says, "Fuck, I'm late again." Oh, he's typing in all caps. Are you drunk already, Zach? It's okay. You can be honest. Danny Rowling said, also, as many seasons there are of The Walking Dead, there's no way there would be zombies. They'd all be decayed and shit after the 4th season. See, I was thinking that, too. I was just like, at what point are they going to be, like, too rotted to, like, fucking walk around?
I don't think they rot.
See, but okay, they're gonna like have some science to like come up with that because like you know they're clearly dead because they're all grody and fucking decayed looking. Yeah. So it's like okay, their decay is slowed or whatever if you want to go that. They
gotta have some kind of metabolism going on in there.
Do they shit? What what is? Do they eat? Well, they eat, so they gotta shit it out.
And they produce energy.
Otherwise, they explode.
They eat and they walk around. They produce energy. So there's a metabolism.
So they might as well be fucking alive.
So they're kind of like alive. Yeah.
They're alive-ish.
Yeah.
That's what they are. But yeah, like I said, you would think after a while, since they were all rotted and stuff, and then like sometimes they'd still be walking around like after somebody cut their arms off or some shit like that, and it's like you'd think after a while like they just wouldn't, like their legs would rot or somebody would cut one of their legs off and they would just kind of lay there and go rah, rah.
Well, if they were in the water they'd bloat up, remember? They get soft, you could pull them apart.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right. That was a great fucking when they pulled that one out of the well.
Yeah, and he just
that was amazing.
They got waterlogged.
It was like
yeah. So
I bet they had a fucking blast like making that.
So
shit.
They also must have had some kind of a like a defense mechanism against bacteria and things because they, like you said, they would have rotted.
Yeah.
You know, but they didn't. They did decay a little bit, it looked like, but not much.
Yeah, you think like after a while it'd just be like fucking skeletons coming after you, like a Ray Harryhausen movie.
Yeah.
That'll be the next season.
They had some kind of an immune system.
Kaylin Higgins said, didn't a zombie speak? Did the zombies talk on Walking Dead? Because I stopped watching it. I don't think so. I know they talked. One of them talked in like in the Romero movies.
Yeah,
like he just said one word or something.
Yeah, I never heard any of them talk in
I think that would kind of like ruin it. I mean, at least in the universe that they'd said. I'm not averse to like zombies talking but it all has to do with like what kind of zombies you're setting up. You know what I mean?
Well, here's another thing that they could have done with The Walking Dead is there could have been run into a situation where they found a person who was like half zombie, where they had it, but they only turned halfway.
How would that manifest?
They could still talk.
Yeah,
and they could kind of control things, but they could kind of control themselves, but then they'd lose control and maybe try to eat you. But they were also dead. That'd be kind of cool. So it'd be more like a vampire.
Yeah.
You know. more like a vampire.
Yeah, you could go that route.
Where a person turned, but they were able to keep their mind, and they could control their hunger a little bit, or intermittently. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if it... I didn't read the comics, so I don't really know if any of that stuff is
It was
in
a
there.
Disease of some sort. They said it was, remember? They said it was a virus. So
yeah, because they said that, like, that was, like, the end of the first season, right? Or
Yeah.
the end of the second season, where they said that it was... Yeah, it's basically, like, they tried to give, like, a bullshit scientific explanation for it, where it's like, oh, it's this thing that re-energizes your brain.
So if it's a disease, that means there would be a person that could catch it, but then would be kind of immune.
Right.
Or have a resistance.
Yeah, shit, man. They even did that in I Am Legend, or you know, like Omega Man, which were more like vampires, but still.
Yeah.
Like you could get it, but then like you could be cured of it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dave said I stopped watching only because I got too behind after their last and final season, but now they're gonna have the group that did Live have their own shows, 3 or 4 different shows. And he said the Whisperers spoke. Okay.
Yeah. They weren't zombies though.
Well, wait a minute. Were they?
I don't think the Whisperers
I don't know.
were
I don't
zombies.
remember what this was.
I think they were people dressed up as zombies.
Hugo again, like asked if we've seen The Last of Us. We gotta watch it because like literally 40 million people have told me
They're
to watch
saying it's
it.
the opposite. That it has a lot better characters.
Yeah, and you love post-apocalyptic shit, so you'd probably be really into it. Didn't the vampire zombies in the Omega Man speak? Yes, they did. They were essentially just kind of like...
They weren't vampires.
Well, in the novel they were.
Yeah, but not in the Omega Man.
In the novel they were.
Yeah. In the Omega Man, they were just mutants.
Yeah.
They were psychopathic mutants that kind of came down with albinoism. They were blind in the daylight. They lost all their pigmentation. And they became psychopaths. And they were under the control of a dude named Matthias, who was an old television reporter, and he went all fucking anarcho fucking Marxist or whatever. He's trying to fucking destroy everything that had come before, destroy the wheel, all of technology, because that was what was responsible.
Which, man, that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
So they kind of became the Inquisition. They're wearing fucking robes and, and fucking trying to hunt down and burn all the libraries. But it was only showing what was happening in L.A. It didn't show what was happening anywhere else. So I don't know if the mutants maybe behaved differently in other places, which I would think maybe they would.
Yeah, I suppose so.
It was just that one guy,
right,
who was controlling them. He basically formed a cult. They took over City Hall and everything.
Yeah, everybody's saying The Last of Us is really, really good. I keep seeing it like pop up on the thing, and I'm just like, man, I really got to get into that. But we usually just end up watching a movie, or I usually just end up watching like some bullshit like cooking show or something like that, because it's like I was like, do I really want to make that commitment? Because I don't know like how long it'll take for me to watch the whole thing.
We saw I Am Legend again with Will Smith, and the movie was a lot better than I remembered it.
It's still not good though.
It's still not that good.
I don't like it.
I had remembered it incorrectly. I thought that he was in quarantined New York, and that he was in there trying to stop the infection, and that the outside world was intact, and they were talking to him. For some reason, I thought that.
You must be thinking of a different movie.
Yeah, but no, he was the last guy.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the whole premise of the.
So I thought they fucked that premise up. They did. What they fucked up were the mutants themselves. They were just CGI, generic mutants. They didn't talk. And the book and the story that it was based on, it's super important that the mutants talk, that the vampires talk. Basically, they're vampires because they're the new humanity.
Yeah.
And the Omega Man,
the last man,
the last guy, the last human being, he's the monster.
Yeah,
he's running around killing fucking vampires
while they're
sleeping.
Yeah,
and they just thought of him as a monster.
Which they would.
Yeah.
Because that's how they perceive things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, that was the whole point of the novel. And I kind of feel like none of the movies... The Vincent Price one, The Last Man on Earth, is the most... It's not
it's good.
Super accurate, but it's the most accurate of the 3 adaptations that have been made.
I put it right there with a Mega Man, underneath a Mega Man in terms of just. Like,
I mean, I'll watch anything with Vincent Price in it. That's for sure.
I like the Cheston, man, Charlton Heston, fucking Omega Man. I would love to remake that movie.
I just want somebody to make an adaptation of I Am Legend that's like the book. Nobody's really done that.
I've never read the book, so I don't know.
Yeah, Louis said, I Am Legend is one of those books that nobody has been able to translate into a great movie. Yeah, really not. Yeah. And the weird thing about it is that I don't know why not, because it's an awesome book. I don't really know, like, what the problem is. Because everybody wants to fuck with it. Everybody wants to change it. And I don't know, like I said, I don't really know if people that are writing the script for it, like, get what the point of the book is.
Louis, out of the 3 movies, which one do you like the best? You can drop it in the comment section. I think it's Omega Man.
I mean, Omega Man is a great movie. I really like Omega Man, but it's not that much like the book. Like I said, I like the Vincent Price one probably slightly more because Vincent Price, and also it's a lot more like the book, and I dig that. So I don't know.
Just something about
the Will Smith one I don't like at all.
I liked it a lot better than
it wasn't as terrible as I remembered. I'll give it that, but it's still not good. And like I said, a lot of it doesn't have anything to do with Will Smith. He's all charismatic and all that shit. But it's like you said, I didn't really like. It's just too CGI-y. Yeah, they were doing that kind of shit, and they changed the ending, which I thought was stupid as hell.
I think you said Omega Man there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Omega Man.
I mean, I probably like Omega Man and Last Man on Earth probably about the same. Like, they're very different movies, even though they're ostensibly based on the same thing. But, I don't know, the tone of them is very different.
I can pop Omega Man in any time of the day or night and watch that shit. And get.
I probably could too.
And enjoy it.
It's a comforting movie.
Yeah, there's something about it. And it had the way they show L.A., an empty L.A., and him fucking doing his fucking security sweeps with the equipment that he had. He had that fucking convertible Mustang and that fucking Smith & Wesson MK760 9mm submachine gun with a fucking flashlight underneath it. It's just cool shit, and he's fucking got his tape recorder. He's trying to figure out where they live, where the nest is, fucking. And then he's got his fucking honky paradise. That's what what's his name called it. He's got that old brownstone where he used to live. Fucking, he's got it fortified like a fucking fortress. Spotlights and everything.
I love that he actually takes the time to dress up, put on his velvet frock coat.
Yeah, what do you
guys and have his brandy or whatever, and he's playing chess with the bust.
Yeah,
that's very funny to me.
What do you guys? It's Friday. I dress up on Friday.
Yeah, that's probably some shit I would do too.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like if you were the only person left on Earth, or you thought you were. I mean, it would become. You'd go crazy if you didn't have some kind of structure or you didn't have some kind of purpose, you know what I mean? So you would probably have to do what he was doing. I mean, it seems funny, but it's not really that funny. I mean, you're just kind of trying to, you're trying to eke some happiness out of your life. So you're like, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want. I'm
some kind of routine.
Right. That's what I mean. I think that would really help a lot.
So you can keep track of the passage of time and stuff.
Right.
And
you could do holidays, put up a Christmas tree and all this. I would probably do that shit. I think most people probably would.
He had some badass guns too. He had a fucking Browning 50 up on his roof, bunch of sandbags. He had a BAR with active IR light on the front of it, so you can have night vision. Old fashioned IR night vision. He had an MP40, MK760. I'm trying to think what else he had in there. Just other shit,
Just other shit.
Other shit. And that black chick had a fucking cool pistol. She had a fucking a chrome Colt 03 pocket hammerless and fucking 32. She goes, get down there, be cool, you. Remember that shit? When she made him get on a motorcycle. Fucking, you better ride, She was pretty cool. She was all that Black Panther shit.
She was badass. I like her.
Big old fro. Look cool, man. I liked those old haircuts. Those old fucking afro hairdos the girls would wear in the 70s. Just a big round ball.
Yeah.
The guys wore those too.
Yeah.
But, they look good.
Because they're just like, fuck it.
Just a big old ball.
Yeah. That's all right.
It looks good.
It does, actually. I mean, it depends on the person, just like everything else.
Well, she was thin, so it looked really good on her.
Well, yeah.
And it came up out of the jawline, just a big old round ball.
Danny Rolling said, Omega Man is so good that I own the VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray of the film.
Who said that?
Danny Rolling.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Also, The Last Man on Earth was inspiration for the Romero ghoul looks, but more scarier looking than Night of the Living Dead zombies, in my opinion. Yeah. That's where Romero got the idea. Because, if you didn't know, Last Man on Earth came out in 1963. I'm trying to... when did the novel come out? 1959, I want to say? Or 1960? I can't actually remember.
Danny, I was going to make a damn doll of Neville. Because, they sell these, like, generic blank dolls. They're in a certain... They're like a 12-inch action figure, like the size of a G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I think they're usually 12 inches.
They're G.I. Joe size, and they're kind of
standard.
generic. And you can buy... Dudes are selling fucking faces. They're like 3D printed faces. They're kind of bootleg. But you can get Charlton Heston's head. And you put that on it.
You can get Charlton Heston's head.
Yeah.
You heard it.
And I was going to get get that blue flight suit. And a fucking officer's cap, and get the MK760, and I'd be able to make a Neville. Remember at the very end where he's in his fucking flight suit and he's got his fucking officer's cap on?
Yeah.
They sell everything to make that.
That's pretty cool.
It would have been about $100 and something to get it done, but I would have had a fucking full Neville with fucking Charlton Heston's face and everything. But you got to pay the face. But I got paid for it. I could get the pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would have been badass. And you can buy all. I checked to see, do they have that offset? And somebody actually sold a package, an Omega Man Neville package. It didn't come with the head, but it came with all the clothes and the gun and everything. And the gun had the flashlight on it. It was 3D printed.
See, isn't that awesome?
Yeah, you can make any character. Pretty much.
Isn't that awesome?
That you ever see? You make a doll of it.
That like nerds run the world now, and you can get like anything you want.
Yeah. They scan the fucking faces and they make a 3D fucking printing of that head. And evidently, a lot of that shit's copyrighted, and they can't use images, so it's kind of like
you got to come up with like workarounds.
There's workarounds, but that's fucking definitely Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because normally I kind of feel like I guess it depends on their contracts, but I guess you have to pay for use of their image, but I don't know. It kind of depends on the characters because sometimes you can make dolls or make little action figures with the outfit on, and that's not copyrighted. I don't think. Louis said, I know you guys know this, but in the Omega Man, that was all downtown LA, no CGI.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they did. I was like, every now and then. They did. I mean, they did a good job. Yeah, like if you're going to be real nitpicky, it's like every now and then you can see like a car go by way in the distance. But it's like, honestly, I never really noticed that until somebody pointed it out.
Yeah.
But,
it looks empty.
Yeah, it looks amazing. And so like, that's kind of like, because I feel like they did that in fucking 28 Days Later, too.
Yeah.
But with London. Like, they made that look totally empty, too, and that was fucking amazing.
See, I first saw that. I probably saw it around the same time Louis Hernandez saw it when I was a little kid in L.A. And it was maybe around 76, maybe, 76, 77, around those 2 years. And they played that bitch on television. It was on Channel 13. KHTTV, I think, KTTV, I think was what the name of that channel was. And they played that for like the Monster Matinee. And I was about 8, maybe 7 or 8, and watched that shit, and I wasn't sure what I was fucking seeing, but it was scaring the shit out of me. This dude was running around, and he was finding dead people in the bed that had been dead for a long time. You know when Neville was pulling... Mm-hmm. And pull the sheets back and be a dead person. Like that. And he's looking for shit, and he's by himself, and he's running by himself. And there is no phone ringing, damn it! There is no phone. And I go, yeah, there's a phone. There's a phone right over there. Yeah, that's right. There wouldn't be a phone, would there? You know what I mean? They don't use the phone. He's by himself.
Yeah, there's nobody on Earth. No one's calling you.
Yeah. And it made an impression on me. And then the mutants in the robes that fucking scared me. And I was watching this shit during the daytime, and it scared me. And what really fucked me up is when they killed the little kid. They went that far.
Yeah, because you don't usually
normally
see
didn't kill a
even
kid.
Nowadays you don't really see it. They do it more nowadays, I kind of
Yeah.
feel like, but every time, like back in the 80s when you saw a movie that killed a kid,
Yeah.
it was usually like Italian because they didn't give a fuck.
They killed Richie.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
Yeah, he was what was the woman's name?
Oh,
The
shit.
black chick's
No, I
little
can't-
it was the black chick's little brother.
Yeah.
And he went back to go try to reason with the mutants. Hey, you know, he's got the cure. We can all go back to the way we were. And we can all go back to the way we were.
He's like, no, fuck that shit.
Yeah, we're all go back. Okay, the next thing you know, they got his ass crucified and shit. Neville finds him because they're trying to rescue him. And when I saw that kid fucking... And he's like friendly as shit, you know what I mean? You're another little kid. You're vibing with him. Oh, yeah, okay, maybe it'll work out. No, it didn't work out.
Well, that's what... That was what was like so horrifying because he was like a nice kid.
He just thought he could... Hey, I had it, and we got rid of it. Neville, he cured me. We can all go back to the way we were.
Yeah, he thought... Well, he was just a kid, so he thought, you know, now when they see that, like, it can be cured now, that, like, everything will be all right, but...
So I was fucked up when I saw that. Because I was probably just only a little bit younger than that kid. How old do you think he was? He was probably about 10, wasn't he?
No, he was older than that.
Older than that?
I thought he was more like 13 or 14.
13, 14?
But
Okay.
maybe, I don't know. He seemed like like a teenager. Like
Okay.
a young
I thought he was a little
teenager
bit
to
younger
me.
than that.
Maybe, but it's been a while since I've seen it. But he
might
seemed
have been.
like...
He might have been 13 or 14.
I was
maybe.
thinking like 14.
I was probably about 7 or 8.
But I'm not good at guessing people's ages.
But, you know, I just saw him as a kid, and you know what I mean? So I'm identifying with that character. Like, yeah, maybe he's right, you know? But no, man, when I saw him dead like that, and he was fucking up there crucified, they didn't quite show you closely what they did, but I think he was nailed up to nailed.
Yeah,
to
it was like
cross.
they didn't even kill him. It's like they fucking did that. It's like,
Yeah, and he
Jesus
died
Christ.
later. When Neville saw him, and I was like, man, they killed that kid. And then all of a sudden,
Like,
fucking
that's
everything ramped
fucked up.
Because when you're a little kid, normally when you're watching these monster movies, the little kids, you'll see kids in the monster movies, but they live.
Yeah, they'll be safe.
Yeah, but they'll really fuck you up sometimes when the kid dies. You're like, oh shit, this one's serious, man. This movie's fucking serious. They're killing little kids in it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know this is a fucked up thing to say, but as a horror fan, I always kind of like respect when somebody's willing to go the distance.
Yeah.
And kill a little kid in a movie.
Well,
I told you I don't like it when they kill kitties and puppies because I kind of feel like that's a cheap shot. But
they had to kill Richie in that movie because not enough people were being killed, and the family is what they were called, the mutants. They had to be portrayed as real threats.
yeah,
That's how crazy they were.
right.
And if they didn't happen, you wouldn't respect them.
Right.
You wouldn't be afraid of them.
Yeah.
They were fucking
well,
nuts.
like I said, that's kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
story-wise, yeah, you have to make them scary. And in order to make them scary, they have to do, like, some fucked up shit. And killing a kid like that, especially a really nice one that was actually trying to help them, is really fucked up. So, the book came out in 1954, says Louis. He checked for me. Thank you. You know why I thought it was 1959? I don't know if this is going to sound random, but I thought it was 1959 because that's when Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House came out. So for some reason, I thought they came out the same year, but I guess not. So yeah, 1954, that's old. And yeah, Richard Matheson was way ahead of his time. Yeah, I agree. Actually, he's one of my favorite writers. I mean, the dude, he wrote like so much good shit. And it's like he wrote all the best Twilight Zone episodes. He just wrote some great fucking novels that they made into great fucking movies. It's just, I mean, the dude was amazing. He wrote Duel as well. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I have this. So I have a big compilation of like all his short stories.
Celtic Angel saying he's gonna have to see Omega Man again. He hadn't seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. Celtic Angel said, hello there. I got my work schedule changed, so I'm off on Fridays now. Hopefully I can join the Sidetracks more often. I hope so. Yeah, like last week we changed it to Saturday, but, you know, this week we decided we were going to do it on Friday, and even though we are going out tonight, but, you know. Jen Dubois said, hi, Jenny and Tom. I'm okay with child death. I agree. Critter death makes me cry. Well, honestly, it's weird
Similar.
because, yeah, but...
When I was a kid, it was similar.
Yeah. Nowadays, I'm just kind of like, now, if a horror movie, if they kill a cat or like a dog or
Yeah,
something like
you're
that,
like,
I get mad.
That's gratuitous killing
I'm
of
like,
animals
fuck
on
that.
land.
But
That's
it's like, if they kill a kid, I'm like, yeah, you go. I know that's messed up. It's not real, people. It's okay. Yeah. It's a horror movie. But it's like, I do like if they're willing to do that, because I know a lot of movies will kind of pull their punches. It's like, oh, we don't want to go there. Oh, he's still alive. It's okay. You know what I mean? But yeah, leave the kitties and puppies alone.
But to
kill all the kids you want.
To Celtic Angel, the movie's, it's an old movie. It's very traditional in the way that it's edited. It was kind of innovative for its time in certain ways, though, the subject matter and it's just a solid flick. It's a solid flick, especially for its time. And there's something about it that's kind of eerie, especially the first part of the movie when he's by himself. Kind of eerie and in a weird way, kind of comforting. It's kind of got a nostalgic feeling. It has a good 1970s fucking score. There's like fucking wop, 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 wop.
Yeah, it's kind of funky.
It's got a funk in it. It's classic and funk. It's survival horror adventure. It has some interracial romance in it between a fucking military weapons scientist who survived, and he's kind of monstrous. That's fucking Neville. And basically a female Black Panther, so it's like opposites. They're two totally opposite type people thrown together. And then there's a family element where they're trying to protect these little kids. And it's got a biker in there who is a guy who wasn't able to complete his university biology or medicine because education because the fucking world ended. It's very LA feelings, 1970s LA. It's that area where it's filmed, and in the hills around it. It's just a good flick, I was, grew up partially in LA. I left, in 1982, 81 or 82 is when I left. So I had childhood memories of that area. It was a good place to grow up. I'm glad I'm not there now. It's too expensive to live there. It doesn't offer enough, I'm in the new California, Florida, which if you're from old California, you'd recognize Florida. It's like old California in some ways. But no, it's a solid flick. I got it on Blu-ray. I would love to, not Blu-ray, DVD. I'd love it. I'd love for this to get a Blu-ray deluxe release.
Like a steelbook.
Like a steelbook, yeah.
Why hasn't it got a steelbook yet? I kind of feel like of all the movies,
they're fucking slacking, man.
I mean, a lot of movies have steelbooks.
It needs a new cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like
the cover art wasn't
that
good.
It has now.
It needs to be a steelbook. There needs to be some more extras. It needs to be remastered a bit, but even the DVD is pretty good.
Jen Dubois said, I love 70s cinema. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, if I had to pick, if somebody put a gun in my head, probably the 70s is my favorite decade for film. But, I mean, I like films from every era, going back to the silent era. But the 70s probably has the highest concentration of my favorite movies. Louis says, Jenny, he wrote some kick-ass TV movies in the 70s. Yeah, that's right. Night Stalker, yeah, I reviewed that over on my other channel.
Refresh these drinks.
Trilogy of Terror, yeah, that was the one with Karen Black.
Sexy-ass
Karen Black in all three of them.
Yeah.
And he's the one that made Dracula and Vlad the Impaler, the same person. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, he's kind of one of those guys, is like one of those horror stalwarts, man. I kind of feel like a lot of shit that people know about like modern horror tropes like originated with him. Dave says, hey, gotta go taking a quick nap before going out. See you both later. Yeah, we'll be out later on. Have a good nap. But, I can't take a nap at this. If I took a nap now, I'd probably just sleep until the morning. Jen says they took chances in the 70s. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, pretty much all of my favorite horror movies are from the 70s and 80s, like early 80s. I kind of feel like once the mid 80s and 90s came along, it's like I still like a lot of movies from then, and I actually like a lot of movies from recently, like from the past 20 years or something like that, because I feel like there was kind of a lull, at least for me, like in the 90s and the 2000s. But then like in right around 2010, something like that, like shit started getting good again. But I kind of feel almost all of my favorite horror movies are late 70s, or actually entire 70s and like early 80s. I kind of feel like up until 82 or 83, because I love slasher movies, but I kind of feel like the 80s was very slasher centric. I know there was a lot of other stuff going on too, but it's like, and a lot of those got kind of samey. And I really like a lot of, I really love, if you've been around here a long time, you know that I really love Giallo movies, like Italian Giallo movies from the 1970s. And I kind of feel like they were still making Giallos in the 80s, but they were kind of getting a little stale, you know what I mean? I kind of feel like all the best ones came out in the 70s, and the late 60s, early 70s. I kind of feel like all the best ones came out.
Okay, what time do we have to end the show? Yeah.
Probably 9-ish.
9-ish. Okay.
I mean, I at least want to have time to...
You're right, yeah. Okay.
Just change clothes.
Because time's flying.
Yeah, I know. Well,
It's been a good show.
We're
been
having
a fun show so far. Yeah.
We're having a good time. So since you mentioned, I was thinking this when you were talking about the Omega Man, that you saw it on cable and it scared the crap out of you.
No, I didn't see it on
when
cable.
You were,
I saw it
or
on broadcast television.
Or whenever you saw it.
Local television, California, yeah.
So you saw it when you were 8, you said?
About 8 or 9, 8, 9.
And it scared the shit out of you.
Yeah.
So...
I didn't know what post-apocalyptic horror was.
Well, you're 8,
I wasn't quite sure what biological warfare was. I didn't know what a mutant was. But I was putting it together as I was watching it. It was like, oh, those people aren't normal. They're sick. There's something wrong with them. And they take the glasses off and they're like, oh, because they're all albino looking. And yeah.
So I'm going to, ask what other movies that you saw, scared the shit out of you as a kid. And I'm saying you might have seen it,
Giant Spider Invasion scared me when it came out.
Which is hilarious because that movie is terrible.
Terrible.
I saw it on Mystery Science Theater.
Piranha scared the shit out of me when that guy got his hand.
Oh, Piranha scared me too.
Yeah.
When I was little. When did that come out? 81?
Yeah.
So I probably saw it when I was 9 or 10.
I'm trying to think of... No, Piranha I think came out in fucking 70s. Late 70s.
I thought it was 81, but I could be wrong about that.
It was more like late 70s, maybe 78 maybe.
Well, anything I told you before, remember when we reviewed the Oliver Stone movie, The Hand, with Michael
that
Caine?
one. I love that one. Yeah.
I told you anything that had to do with dismemberment.
Yeah.
But especially beheading, but it didn't necessarily have to be beheading. It could be any kind of dismemberment. That really fucked me up. It still kind of does a little bit. So it's the scene in The Omen, where David Warner gets his head cut off by the pane of glass. That scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Holy crap! But it was it fascinated me too at the same time. But it also horrified me, and I kept thinking about it. Jen Dubois said Burnt Offering scared me. Saw that as a kid too. Yeah, that scared the crap out of me. I first saw that at a slumber party in the 80s. I was at my friend, I think I was in junior high. Maybe? No, maybe I was younger than that. I can't remember. But I was at this slumber party, my friend Tanya, and her dad was a heart surgeon or something. And so they lived in this huge fucking mansion. And it was me and her and just a handful of other girls. Some of them I didn't really know that well. And she had this house. It was an old mansion, and it looked like an old haunted house, legit. You walked in, there was a fucking big marble staircase with a fucking chandelier. I'm holy fucking shit. My growing up in a trailer park ass, I was just I'd never seen anything like that except in the movies. And so, we go upstairs, we get snacks and stuff. Oh, we're going to watch movies. We rented, some horror movies. And there's, this fucking maze, man. You go through back then, there's all these little rooms and shit. I'm holy crap, this house never ends. And so we get in this room, and we're all piled up on the couch, and we start watching Burnt Offerings. And it's that fucking chauffeur...
Yeah.
Pops up in the shit. The first time that happened, every single girl that popped up and, ran in all different directions. I still fucking remember that. I mean, we were pretty small.
Jen Dubois said that it also scared her, but I don't know what she's talking about. She was talking about Giant Spider Invasion. She said it was a core memory.
It's so not scary, though. I mean, I think, probably not to me, because the first time I saw it was on Mystery Science Theater.
No,
where they were making fun of it.
I saw it in the drive-in.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad took me to see it in a drive-in. And fucking, it was, I think, it might have been matinee. No, not matinee. It might have been theater.
Oh, she said I was talking about Omega Man.
Omega Man. Okay.
So not Giant Spider Invasion. Right. That's just, Giant because
Spider Invasion. So what first got me about Giant Spider Invasion is that the spider went in the blender and the girl drank it.
Yeah, see,
that bothered me.
Even Stephen King brought that up. He's like, look, it's a terrible movie, but that scene, is like everybody can relate to that because it's like, oh, gross, you know what I mean? Because that is pretty nasty. But the funniest thing to me about that scene is that when she and I've seen this movie probably like 100 times because, like I said, it's on Mystery Science Theater and it's a really good Mystery Science Theater episode, so I've watched it a bunch of times. But the scene where the spider goes in the blender and then she drinks it is the funny thing about it is that you see the spider go in the blender and she's in the blender and she's very, very clearly not looking at what she's putting in the blender, and it's very, very obvious that she's like la la la, not looking at the blender, and it's like it's just very, very funny to me. But then like she drinks it in.
Well, that shit was almost kind of like fucking some vaudevillian scene where she's doing that and fucking her husband is hitting on her little sister
with the back brace.
Yeah, isn't he hitting on her little sister?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's her younger sister. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Yeah, like it's just these really gross like hillbilly. It's Wisconsin. Yeah. I think it's set in Wisconsin. But the funny thing is the guy that plays like the main farmer guy, the guy with the gross like back brace with stains on it, and the long johns. I think that dude. I don't think he directed it, but I think that later on he went on and became like a dialect coach. Because I think he was on The Tonight Show and shit like that all the time, which is hilarious. Because and the funny thing is the giant spider is clearly a Volkswagen Beetle with fur on it. Yeah. And legs.
Shoving people up its ass.
Yeah. That's my favorite part. It gets me every single time. Like, if you watch it on Mystery Science Theater,
it's obviously shoving people up its ass.
Well, yeah, like he eats, like the spider, spoiler alert, like the spider eats the redneck dude, and Tom Servo, the MST, like the robot, he says, does it matter that he ate him with his butt? Like, he very clearly just, like, stuffs stuff. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my god. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah, Celtic Angel says the blob scared her when you look. Yeah, that one scene really bothered me in the blob where the old man what they found in the woods and fucking it's eating up his arm. And then it gets the doctor. Didn't it get the doctor or the nurse where he's trying to get out through the window? Yeah, that part scared me.
I mean, the original Blob parts of it are pretty scary. Now, the 1988 one, I would argue that the 1988 one is one of the best remakes ever. I really like the 1988 remake of the Blob.
Another one that really made an impression on me, probably was around 6, 7, 8, around that time, was the old 1950s War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it.
We reviewed that not too long ago.
Yeah,
that's a good movie.
Yeah, and it kind of scared me. The concept that, oh yeah, you can be, aliens could come and fuck your shit up. You know what I mean? That I was like, whoa. Couldn't stop them.
Well, yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Celtic Angel 73 said, also Poltergeist. I shared a bedroom with my sister, and after I saw it, I switched beds with her because it was a tree outside the window next to my bed. Yeah, you're afraid the tree was going to reach in and, like, eat you?
That didn't bother me. They had other ones that bothered me.
Poltergeist kind of scared me.
They had other ones that bothered me way into my fucking teens. But I go back and look and watch them, and they're not even fucking bloody or scary. And that was fucking Friday the 13th 1, 2, and 3,
which are pretty tame by today's standards.
But I was, I guess, what 15, 16, 14, 15, 16, around that.
The original Friday the 13th came out in 1980.
But I was seeing it later.
But you were seeing it later.
I was seeing it later,
like you saw on video.
On cable. They would play them all at the same time. And I think I was around 15. No, younger. 13, 14. And that shit would still scare me. Because, I was spending summers in Mississippi. My friend's house. We were out in the middle of nowhere. And outside every one of those houses was woods. So there was possibly a Jason out there.
I mean,
you
didn't
want him looking in through the window,
There could be a Jason.
Could be a Jason out there.
Because, I mean, he's probably, like, not supernatural, but there could be a serial killer for sure.
And Friday the 13th Part 2 was the best one. I think it's still the best one.
I agree. I think number 2 is the best one.
That's the one where they find Jason's lair, and he's got the mama's head, right? In the
Plus,
sweater.
that's the one with Amy Steele. And I kind of feel like she was in April Fool's Day as well, which is another one of my favorite movies from the 80s. But which is kind of like a quasi slasher, except it's kind of almost a comedy, but not quite. But
and Terror Train, I used to like that one.
Yeah. That's the one that's on New Year's with Jamie Lee Curtis, right? That's a Canadian film, I think.
Yeah, and then I don't think that one's even gory.
No, a lot of them weren't. I kind of feel like the weird thing about it is that people are like, ooh, slasher movies, but a lot of them really weren't that gory. Like I said, the Italian ones were. They showed all kind of fucked up shit, like eye gougings and all that. But the American ones were pretty tame. And I don't think... Because sometimes they cut them, too. Yeah. You know? Like, for example, you got, like, My Bloody Valentine, which was another Canadian slasher, and that came out in 1981. They remade it later, but it wasn't that good. But the original was actually much gorier, because I've seen the original scenes that they cut out, but they cut a bunch of shit out. I think people... Maybe in the U.S. you don't realize, because we got real smug over here about, like, video nasties and, like, the U.K., and they were cutting all these movies and stuff. They cut them in the U.S., too. But it's like they don't make a big thing about it, so you don't really know unless you kind of, like, look it up. But, you know. Yeah, Celtic Angel 73 said, I agree, the 1988 Blob was one of the best remakes I've ever seen. Yeah, it kicked ass. It's really, really good. Jen Dubois said the rotting meat scene in Poltergeist scared me. I think that was the scene that bothered me the most. Like, the clown is fucked up. I'm not, like, scared of clowns or anything like that, but that was, like, a good scene with the clown in the tree, like, eating the kid and everything. But I think, yeah, the scene that scared me the most was the steak, like, going across the thing and then that guy going and tearing his own face off. Which, shit, that was PG-13.
Yeah. Well, they were hardcore back then, man.
The dude goes in the bathroom and just starts tearing his face off, and I'm just like, oh, no. Oh, no.
Flash Gordon was fucking PG-13, and there was fucking drugs in it, sex, drugs, and sex slaves, and you know, I fucking loved it, man. That was fucking like erotic Star Wars.
Erotic Star Wars.
Yeah, fucking loved. I love fucking the old Flash Gordon.
Camp Guy said Phantasm.
Yeah.
I was older, but I had to walk home at like 2 a.m. right after I saw this. The great thing about Phantasm,
couldn't see Phantasm until I got older,
is that. Yeah. I love Phantasm. Like, the first one. The second one's good, too. Like, I saw the second one in the theater, but the first one...
That whole fucking franchise, every episode is good. Every movie's good. That's a labor of love.
Well, because I like them because they're, like, surreal. And they're, like, nightmare logic. And I like... You know, that can go stupid, like, and that can go horribly wrong. But Phantasm, he got it... Don Coscarelli, he got it exactly right. Like, that is exactly, like, what a nightmare is like. What the fuck was that?
What's that?
I thought I heard something over there, like Pookie was fucking around.
No.
Or maybe
it did that?
No, I thought, like, I heard her, like, crashing around out there. But, yeah. Oh, Trey said, hey, I got distracted. I'm going to see Skinny Puppy now, too, in Atlanta. Got VIP ticket, too. And it's a few days before my birthday. Well, shit.
Trey also said...
Happy early birthday.
Said I got to go with Friday the 13th, part 3. That's the first one. 3 was... It had a real clumsy edit. I got 1, 2, and 3. I have those 3 movies. And 3, if you go back and look at it, the edit is fucking all over the place. And it looks very low budget. But the thing about it is it has real memorable death scenes in it.
Yeah. Although the sleeping bag kill from number 7 is still my favorite.
I don't remember that one.
I think that's everybody's favorite.
I saw the rest of them, but I saw the rest of them as gags. They started to get worse and worse.
Okay.
I think 4 was okay, if I remember. I remember 4 maybe being okay. But my favorite is 2.
Yeah, 2 is still my favorite.
Yeah, there's something about 2. The way it ended.
And I liked the one with Corey Feldman, which was either 5 or 6.
I think it was 4, wasn't it? Corey Feldman?
I don't remember. Like, where he was a little kid and he shaved his head at the end.
That might have been 4.
That one was good. But, okay, number 3, was that the one that had the guy where they did the whole, like, outhouse gag? Where he got kind of, like, trapped in the outhouse or whatever?
I don't remember. 3 was the one that didn't the people start off in... Shit, it's been so long. Didn't they start off, they were kind of like in a boys' home or a home for the mentally disturbed or something?
Are you thinking about Nightmare on Elm Street 3?
No.
Because that one was set in a mental hospital.
No, it wasn't in a mental hospital. It was just... Oh. It had some kids that had come from there. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I don't remember.
I can't remember either. I get them all confused.
Yeah.
Trey said, I always had a soft spot for Jason Takes Manhattan. Even though he didn't really take Manhattan. It's like half the movie he was just on the boat on the way to Manhattan. Like, he only gets there for like 5 minutes. Because they didn't have enough money to, like, shoot in Manhattan. So, it's like, it's super short. The sound of the ice in your drinks makes me thirsty. Yeah. Yeah, and Trey said it's where he found the hockey mask. That's right. Yeah. Tom was talking about Friday the 13th 5. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, yeah, that's on the.
Yeah, because in the first one,
I've seen almost all of them, but
in the first one,
I get 'em confused.
Jason wasn't the killer. The mom was. Betsy Palmer.
I just remember liking.
And in the second one, he had a bag over his head.
Yeah, I just remember
like
liking
the Phantom Killer.
I just remember liking 1, 2, 3, and maybe I think 4 were the best ones. I think, if I remember.
I mean, 2, like I said, 2 is still my favorite.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like maybe it's because I saw that one the most, but I really like Amy Steele in it. I've always really liked her as an actress, so it's like she's very charismatic, so I think she carries. And I really like the end where she's like pretending to be Jason's mom. Like I always really liked that scene where she finds the head and everything.
Yeah. Really, it should have ended right there. But who am I to say that?
Well,
I mean, they continued to make money on that bitch over and over.
That's
and
what I'm
over
saying.
again.
If like the shit still makes money, they're gonna keep making this.
It should have ended it too.
I mean, artistic anything doesn't mean anything. They're just like, well, the last one made $40 bajillion, so we're gonna make another one. Even if it makes less than that,
Jason
it's still
didn't
a lot.
have a fucking hockey mask on his head. He had a bag on his head with a single hole.
Yeah.
I thought that was
like
bad.
he didn't even have the hockey mask.
Yeah,
in
fuck the hockey mask, just a bag with a fucking hole. Like a potato sack on his head. It looked cool as shit when I was a kid. I was like, what the fuck?
Although you think it's like, why did he only have one hole? Why did he cut out another hole?
Yeah.
Was it they can't be that hard?
Because they were just telegraphing it to me that he only had one eye.
That he couldn't see out of the other one. Maybe that's why.
But still, you wouldn't be able to see, even if you had one eye, you wouldn't be able to see out that little hole.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, Why would you even wear a bag over your head?
No, I don't know. If you were a real bad motherfucker, you'd let everybody see you.
Yeah, it's like, what
would you care? Yeah. Eventually they
take a picture, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like stuff that scared me when I was a kid. And this is going to be hilarious if you've actually seen it recently. One movie that scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. And I saw it when, I don't even remember how old I was. I was probably too young to see it. But, do you guys remember Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things? I think it came out in the early 70s, I want to say. And I saw it on cable, like, late one night. Because I loved creepy shit, like, from birth, pretty much. I don't remember a time that I never liked creepy shit. Even though it did scare me when I was a kid, but it was like an adrenaline rush. So whenever something creepy was on, I'd be like, well, I'm watching this shit, even if I have nightmares for a week or whatever. So that movie, I watched that and it scared the crap out of me. I don't know why. And like I didn't watch it again for a really long time because like, man, that scared the shit out of me as a kid. I wonder what it was about it. And then like I watched it again recently. I'm like, what the fuck was I even scared? I don't even know what I was scared of. It's not scary at all. But I mean, it's a good movie. It's a fun movie. It looked like it costs about $2 to make, but it's still like pretty entertaining. But I don't know what scared me so much about it. And I think also the first time that I saw The Shining, which that came out in 1980, so I was 8 when it came out. I don't think I saw it in the theater, but I think I saw it as soon as it came on cable. And the scene in the bathroom, like with the rotting lady in the tub, that fucked me up. That fucked me up real bad. And I did not like that at all. Trey said I was basically a goth at birth too. Yeah. I mean, honestly, as soon as I could read, because I learned to read pretty young, and as soon as I learned to read, all I wanted to do was like read ghost stories, even before I knew what goth was or even before any of that. It was weird because I got into like the Addams Family and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, wow, I was like, wow, look at Morticia and all this, like the original Addams Family, like the black and white one. Like when I was a kid, I saw it on reruns, and I was like, that's what I want to look like. So that and like stories about witches and stuff, because I was really into witches when I was a kid too. And then like when I got older, like when it was like the late 70s, early 80s, and I discovered that there was this whole subculture of like people that were into like creepy shit too. I was like, I thought I was the only person. So it's like, I'm always like the accidental goth, because it's kind of like I was into creepy shit, and then I realized, oh, there's all these other people also into creepy shit. I thought I was the only person. You know what I mean?
Another thing that used to scare me when I was a kid is every fucking episode of the fucking Night Gallery.
I was just gonna say that
opening fucking sequence.
I love Night Gallery.
God.
I did on my Scare Salon channel, I talked about the pilot of Night Gallery, and I've been wanting to do the series. Like I said, I'm doing Boris Karloff Thriller too, and I want to finish that, but I do want to do Night Gallery because I've seen the Night Gallery series like a million times, and it's so good.
Ross Serling.
Yeah.
Motherfucker was the shit.
I know this might be a controversial statement, but I actually like Night Gallery a bit better. I love the Twilight Zone, don't get me wrong, but I kind of love Night Gallery more than Twilight Zone because Night Gallery was more, I kind of feel like Night Gallery is more horror focused. It was more like EC Comics, whereas Twilight Zone was kind of like a lot of also morality tales, but some of them were more like sci-fi, you know what I mean? Which is fine, but I kind of like more pure horror kind of stuff, and I kind of feel like Night Gallery more went in that direction, and I really liked the premise of
Night Gallery had some disturbing-ass episodes, man.
It did, yeah.
Some of them were Remember they had, what was his name, Carradine? Fucking David Carradine's dad was in it. He's this old bum.
John Carradine.
John Carradine. He goes, I want you to go to that tree and dig out 10 paces, go that way and dig it. You will find a big surprise. Remember that shit? And those kids are out there digging, and they find a big old fucking coffin-looking thing, the box, and they open it up, and fucking Carradine jumps and goes, surprise!
See, I really gotta do Night Gallery. I watched the whole series.
What the fuck?
I've watched the whole series like several times through. Like I think the last time was probably 5 or 6 years ago.
And then the best Twilight Zone, the one that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, was the old lady in the fucking sleeping in her bed at night, and the fucking electrical storms going outside, and fucking somebody keeps calling her, fucking old lady keeps calling this old lady at night on her old fashioned phone, and she picks up, she goes hello, and then it's just a person's voice going hello. Hello. And he goes, hello, I hear you. Hello. And the shit went on and on and on. Finally, she's going, I need you to trace. She's calling the operator. Operator, please trace this call. Who is it that's calling me? Fucking, and then the next day that we traced the call, there was a down line over in this area, and the line fell from the storm, and the fucking telephone line was wrapped around her husband's gravestone.
And he's calling her.
And he was calling her back because there was something.
And that's all he could say. Hello.
No, it went on into some other shit. She kept fucking with him when he was alive, and he was calling back. You didn't, you were fucking me over, bitch. That kind of shit. I don't remember exactly what it was. You never listened to me. She dominated him or something while he was alive.
She's like, I can just not pick up the phone.
Yeah. But all that's
hello,
what I'm gonna
do now.
Hello.
Don't want your dead motherfucking ass calling me. Shut up.
That shit fucking scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Anything like that, for some reason, I'm always really creeped out, still am actually, by weird, like voice kind of things. Like, okay, for example, in The Changeling, the scene from 1980 with George C. Scott, it's a great fucking movie if you haven't seen it, but it's one of my favorite haunted house movies of all time. The seance scene.
There is no ghost in this house.
Well, the seance scene where they do the recording. And they have the medium, and she's talking in that really flat affect.
Yeah.
And that freaks me out. I don't know why. It's like people's voices like going like that. And I've talked about this like on my blog. I think I've talked about it other places too. But like any scene where, like where Danny starts in The Shining, where he like is doing the red rum thing, and it's like he just keeps saying red rum, and then like his voice goes up in pitch. It's like that always kind of like freaks me out. And there's a scene, too, in the original Nightmare on Elm Street where, if you remember, from 1984, where Nancy is sitting in her English class and she falls asleep, but we don't know that, or she doesn't realize it. And the guy, there's a kid in the front of the room, and he's reading from, like, a Shakespeare play. I can't remember which one it is. And he's reading from it, and he's, like, reading normal, but then, like, once she falls asleep, he just starts going... Yeah. Like he starts like whispering like that, and then like she looks and like sees Tina in the body bag like in the hall, and it's like that fucking scene freaks me out. And I think it's mostly because of the voice thing. Like I don't know why, but like people's voice. So anytime like anybody talks in that weird flat affect, or like their voice changes suddenly or something like that, it like weirds me out, and I don't really know why. You guys said Night Gallery is great. Yeah, I love Night Gallery. And And they were talking about the Twilight Zone was ahead of its time. The 80s Twilight Zone, says Celtic Angel, was pretty good too. There were a lot of very creepy episodes. Yeah, I keep wanting to revisit the 80s Twilight Zone. I remember seeing it back then, but I didn't. Like, I like Twilight Zone, the movie from back then, from 83 or whenever that came out.
There was also a 90s series that was called Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah.
I never got to see them.
Well, they did a movie. Yeah, they did an anthology movie, which is excellent.
Yeah.
It had Christian Slater in it. Debbie Harry was in it.
Yeah.
All the stories in that were good. But, yeah, I think they did a series as well. Well, there was kind of like... Because I guess you had Tales from the Crypt. Like, HBO did Tales from the Crypt, and that was, like, hugely successful. So there was a lot of, like, horror anthology shit going on. They even did, like, a Friday the 13th series, which didn't have fuck all to do with the movies. And I think they did a... They did a Freddy one too, and they did Freddy's Nightmares. I don't remember if that one had anything to do with the movies.
I never really liked Nightmare on Elm Street.
The first one is amazing. Actually, the first one and the third one are amazing. Oh, and the new Nightmare.
I just thought they were okay.
Is good. The meta one. That one's good.
I only saw them on VHS. We were renting them, and they were good. Fun enough to watch with a date or something, or hanging out with your fucking high school buddies watching that shit, but they never really stuck with me. And that was the same thing with Hellraiser. There was something always mediocre about Hellraiser.
Which is weird because those are like way more imaginative than the Friday the 13th movies.
For some reason, they just came across as like, there were parts of them I thought were really good, but the rest of it was just kind of mediocre. It's like there wasn't enough special effects. There wasn't enough of what I liked in them.
Well, the thing
it should have just been Cenobites fighting or some shit like that, Yeah.
You say that about every movie. Should have just been fill in the blank fighting.
Shit fighting all
instead of all that bullshit story and characters and stuff. Yeah. We just want to see stuff fighting.
Yeah, I didn't really. The story parts of it didn't really impress me that much. But the special effects did in the time.
Now, I will go on... I like the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, but I will go on record as saying, like, the first one is creepy as hell. And I think that they should have stuck with that because Freddy was actually scary in the first one. And then after that, he just got more and more clownish, like, as time went on. And it's just kind of like, so it got to a point where they were like, well, now he's like a character. So now we're trying to make him like funny and like a comedian. And then we're just like trying to see how absurd we can make just for the special effects team to like have fun. So we're just going to make like, it's like, hey, let's shrink this girl down to the size of a roach and put her in a roach motel and squish her. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of, which is funny, but it's like, it's not scary though. I kind of feel like the first Nightmare on Elm Street was actually scary. None of the other ones were scary. Although the third one was good though. We
loved anything with any of that fucking Reanimator things that we saw. Anything that was like Reanimator, anything with Jeffrey Combs, we liked that.
We love Jeffrey Combs. He's badass.
Yeah. And then Dagon, I have a fucking Blu-ray Steelbook Special Edition Dagon release she got me. That was for my birthday, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Man,
that shit's so
Dagon was the shit.
That's so underrated. That's one of the better like Lovecraft adaptations, I think. Even though it's not an adaptation of Dagon, it's actually an adaptation
and
of Shadow over Innsmouth.
They actually wanted to get what's his name? Fucking shit, I just did his name.
Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs. They wanted to get Jeffrey Combs in that, but he was a little too old to be the lead character because he was supposed to be a college student.
Yeah.
But
well, he could have been a returning college student.
Yeah, I would have changed the story.
Or a professor or something. I mean, they could have. I mean, it would have been a really easy like fix. You know what I mean? Because it did. That dude. There was nothing in the story that said that dude had to be a college student.
Yeah,
is all I'm saying.
We haven't had a guest on the show in a long time, but fucking if we ever had a guest on, it would be Combs. I'd love to fucking get Jeffrey Combs on talk about Shran.
We'll get him drunk and like talk about.
If you ever seen Combs on a show, he drinks on the show. Okay,
like we do.
Yeah, he has a lot of fun on the show.
So, a man after our own heart.
Excuse me one second. He goes up and takes a leak and shit. And comes back.
Sorry, I had to go get my flask.
Yeah, and
I'm just like.
There's a real good interview with him with some fucking hardcore horror fans, and some of them just knew everything that he was in. And one dude bought the Resonator. He owned the real Resonator from the movie, and fucking Combs' mind was fucking blown. He's like, "You have the Resonator?" And he goes, "Yes, I bought the Resonator." "You have the Resonator?" He goes, "Yes, yeah, I have it." Fucking, he's like, "I would like to see the Resonator one time." He goes, "Yeah."
We'll come on over. We'll have a barbecue.
Dude, dude fucking bought the resonator for fucking thousands of dollars off of some auction. And his house was nothing but just like a shrine to horror movies, and a lot of it was Jeffrey Combs
See,
stuff.
if I had the money, I would totally.
Yeah, I'd love to have something like that.
I would totally do that.
It was like a horror museum. I don't remember the name of the channel, but if you look up Jeffrey Combs interviews, it's one of the best interviews he's got with the most hits on it. And it's a good show, man. He's a real good guest.
He seems super fun.
He's real classy.
He seems like
even when
somebody
he's
I could
drunk,
hang
he's
with.
classy.
He seems like somebody I could hang with.
Yeah.
But like I said, I really like. I don't know. I kind of. And I think I've said this before, because I'm such a horror nerd, and I think maybe a lot of horror nerds like kind of feel the same way. It's like you always want these people that you admire, like in horror movies, to be as into them as you are. So it's always kind of like disappointing when you find out it's like, I don't really like horror movies. I just did it for the paycheck or something. And you're like, you kind of suck. But like when you have somebody like that is so appreciative, and they will go on all the horror things, and they'll go to all the conventions, and they'll like hang out with everybody, and they seem to be as into it as you are. That's like way cooler.
Combs his way into that shit.
That's what I see. That's like way cooler.
He's also big into Star Trek because he did so much work on Star Trek Enterprise and Deep Space Nine. He probably did some shit on Voyager. He was on a lot of Star Trek.
See, that's awesome.
episodes.
That's awesome.
And he was saying that he fantasized about actually having a spin-off movie of Commander Shran, and Shran was one of the best fucking characters in Enterprise.
That's right. Take all my money.
Yeah, I would go see that.
Oh well, yeah, I would.
He was the. If you guys know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Shran was an Andorian captain. All right, from some kind of royal guard that the Andorians, and the Andorian guys were the blue guys with the white hair and the antennas, with the suction cups. Yeah. And he was kind of like the Andorian Captain Kirk. He's real cool in the series, and he's a regular on Enterprise. He shows up and does shit and helps out Archer, and he's just a good dude, a real strong battlefield commander. But he's serving a corrupt government. He knows it's corrupt. And he obeys it, but he doesn't believe in what he's doing. It's just that he's a very good character. You know, he doesn't think that the government he's serving is honorable, and it isn't. But he so he does what he's ordered to do, but mitigates it by cheating. You know what I mean? And to help his friends, which was Archer at the time. It's good. It's a good story. Good story. That'd make a great movie.
Yeah, I would watch that. They probably should do it.
Yeah, because it'd be real complicated.
Yeah.
Basically, an alien captain who's an honorable, tough-ass motherfucker. He's kind of reminds me of George C. Scott out of Patton. He's kind of like that. And he's trying to get the mission done, but his commanding officers and his superiors are fucking scumbags, basically. Tell him to fuck people over when he really shouldn't be fucking people over. But he has to obey. But he has to figure out how to fucking mitigate that.
How to make it and run around.
How to make it and run around. Right. And I liked it because the Andorian guys were all small. They were all like, 5'5", 5'6", 5'4", about like that. And the women were all 6 feet tall, basically. And his commanding officer was a female, and she made a move on him, and he had no choice. He either had to marry her or fucking imprison her. So he decided he didn't marry her. Fucking this. He never really did explain what that was about, but that's what he told, what's his name?
Celtic Angel 73 said there's a 2016 movie called Attack of the Killer Donuts. You guys should check it out. It's hilarious. Okay, I will definitely watch that.
We're gonna have to wrap this up though, Jen. It's time for us to start getting.
Yeah, I gotta start getting ready to go.
Yep.
But yeah, this has been. I always
been
like
a good little show.
I always like when we talk about. Well, I always like when we talk about music or horror movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I don't know if the audience enjoys it. If you enjoy the show, please.
Well, I mean, they're kind of like
they're in there.
They're all chiming in.
there.
So
so
everybody's got their. They wouldn't be here.
We're talking. It's fucking sci-fi horror fandom. What we're talking about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like I said,
we all grew up on the same shit.
You get me talking about horror movies, I'll talk all night long.
Yeah.
So that's probably not good. Because we probably should go.
Yeah.
But yeah. So hopefully you guys have a good day tomorrow. We'll probably be back on Sunday. We'll probably do a matinee show. I mean, we might talk about the Top Gun movie if we finish watching it. because we watched it like halfway, or we might watch something else. I don't really know how. So, do you want to review the Maverick movie, or
we can review Top Gun,
or we can think of something else.
We'll worry about it at the time.
We'll worry about it later.
At the time, yeah.
But maybe one or the other. We'll see how it goes. So thank you everybody for dropping by this evening. Thank you for super chats, and we'll see you guys again on Sunday. Good night.